These are directions on how to do your rate coloring. You should have a sheet that looks like this with the coloring on the back. Make sure you submit the coloring also, or you're not going to earn points for the assignment. Let's do one of them together. First, we're going to read the directions. It says solve each problem, find your answer in one of the 3 columns, find the problem number on the coloring page, and color each section with the color that corresponds to your answer. All right, here we go. It says 6 pounds of candy cost $22.44. What is the cost of 1 pound? Okay, so I'm going to highlight, I want to know how much 1 pound is going to cost, which means I'm going to try to get my pounds, the 6, to 1, because that's what the question is asking for. If the question was asking for money, I would get the money down to 1, but since it's asking for pounds, I want to get the pound down to 1. Okay, you could do this 2 different ways. You could do a ratio table. So I'll show you how a ratio table would work. Let's see if I have some room down here. Okay, and there is not a lot of room on this sheet. So if you need to get an extra sheet of paper, then do that. If you just submit the coloring with the answers circled, you are not earning points for this assignment and you will do it again. Okay, so if I look here, my categories need to be pounds of candy and money. So I'm going to label that here. So say pounds of candy and money. Okay, if I go back and read it, I have 6 pounds of candy. So I'm going to put that on the pound side. And that costs $22.44. Okay, to know which side I need to make into a 1, I need to go back to the question and see what it's asking, right? And the question, which we already talked about this part, says, what is the cost of 1 pound? That means I want my pounds to be down to 1. So I'm going to go to the pound side, and I'm going to divide it to make it into 1, right? So what do I divide 6 by to make it into a 1? Well, I know if I want 6 to be a 1, I'm going to have to divide it by 6. Because 6 divided by 6 is 1. And just like when we were doing ratios, tables in our last unit, whatever we do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. So I'm going to divide by 6. Okay, 2244 does not go evenly into 6, which means that we have to divide it out with long division to figure out our answer. So 2244 is going to go in our division box. 6 is going to go on the outside. 6 can go into 2 0 times. 6 goes into 22 3 times. 18, subtract 4, bring down the 4. 6 can go into 44 7 times. 42, subtract 2, bring down the 4. 6 can go into 24 4 times. Something important to remember, if there's a decimal here, you bring that same decimal straight up. Because the answer is not 374, it's 3.74. Okay, so now I'm going to put that in here. And I'm going to go back to my question to see what answer they're wanting from this table that we just did. So it says 6 pounds of candy cost $22.44. What is the cost of 1 pound? So I want to know, how much does 1 pound of candy cost? Here is my 1 pound, and it costs $3.74. And the way you know you did it right is if you can see the answer here. So the way the coloring works is I'm going to go to number 1 on the fish. I'm going to color all the number 1s red. So if I look here, all of my number 1s, here's one here. And I'm sure there's some other ones that you might need to find also. Okay, another way you can do this problem is with a double number line, which we learned about on Monday. Right, so this would be similar to a ratio table. This would be pounds of candy. This would be dollars. I would set it up similar. So this would be 6 pounds of candy is $22.44. Zeros. I want to get it down to 1 pound of candy. Right, so I do the same thing. I ask myself, what divided by 6 is going to give me 1? And that's divided by 6. So then I'm going to do the same thing here. 2244 divided by 6, which we would do the same thing that we did up here, which is 374. which would be still our answer. You can use either strategy to help you, whatever works easiest for you. If you have any other questions, talk to your group before talking to your teacher.